Hello, I'm Kristen Oakes White. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week. My partner Avery Davidson is on assignment this week. Well, every year the Louisiana Farm Bureau Foundation awards 6 scholarships to graduating high school seniors who plan to enter college to pursue a degree related to agriculture. That scholarship is called the Linda and Wayne Zonbrecker Scholarship. It is funded by the Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation with help from Parish Farm Bureau fundraisers. This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to a new fundraiser contributing to the cause in a big way with a big party inside a big red barn.
Guests are filing into the Big Red Barn in Appleville as the pigs are roasting and the jambalaya stirring. They are here for the first ever Party in the Big Red Barn hosted by the Vermilion Parish Young Farmers and Ranchers. However, the seed for this event was planted years ago when Vermilion Parish Farm Bureau President Brian Simon saw the need to get more young farmers into leadership in his parish.
I've been president about 5 years, and when I started, my father's generation had a lot of board members, and then my generation, there were only 2 or 3 of us. When I became president, I noticed the need that we have to get some young ones, or it'll just go away because the young ones are retiring, and we just needed more young people involved. So we've made it our focus, and it's really paid off.
It's paid off in the form of emerging leaders like Chelsea Domain and her husband Philip, as they now give back to help future generations pursuing agriculture.
We knew that we wanted to raise money for the Dwayne Zonbrecker Scholarship and the Linda and Wayne Zonbrecker Scholarship because they originate from our parish, and so many of the people that are involved on our Young Farmer and Ranchers Board benefited from those scholarships. And we feel like, we're young, it's time for us to step up and start raising some of this money ourselves.
You got to keep it going. There's not many young farmers out there, and I'm kind of leaning on that, try to get everybody involved and, give back to the community and also get the farmers involved in the community also.
I'm excited because we have raised so much money so far for this event. Just our sponsorships, it's over $12,000. When we started out in July, our goal was $2,000. So we have far exceeded so far without the ticket sales, without the auction items that we're ready to auction off too.
Tonight we're going to have a live and silent auction, and we're having jambalaya and a cochon delay for food, and we're also having a DJ. So it's going to be a really good time, and it's going to be a great event for people in agriculture and the community to come out, have a good time, and celebrate agriculture.
We are also going to be honoring Miss Linda Zonbrecker and her family for all of the things that they have done for the people of this parish and the state. So I'm excited to see how that goes and to let her realize how appreciated she really is.
Well, it's important for Vermilion Parish because Dwayne Zonbrecker and Miss Linda and Mr. Wayne are all from Vermilion Parish, and they've been on our board for years and years.
This event is about celebrating Miss Linda and her family for the impact they've made in the parish and across the state. At the party, many past recipients of these scholarships were in attendance to thank Miss Linda, but this event is also about looking ahead to the future recipients of these scholarships.
As a recipient of both of the scholarships, it gives me a way to give back.
It's so important because it gives young farm kids the ability to go to college and kind of relieve some of the financial strains of college tuition and stuff, and it keeps them interested in agriculture.
In Vermilion Parish, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
More than 300 people attended this inaugural event, and they raised more than $32,000 to contribute to the state and parish scholarships and Louisiana Ag in the Classroom. We'd like to say a big thank you to the Vermilion Parish Young Farmers and Ranchers for putting together such a great event and supporting these great scholarships. Well, as you are well aware, this is a presidential election year, but you'll also be voting for every member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Louisiana has 6 members of the House and 2 senators, all who vote on agricultural issues. That's why it's important that the people who grow our food take time to speak with the men and women who vote on laws affecting our food. TWILA's Avery Davidson takes us to Washington, D.C. to show us Louisiana young farmers and ranchers making their rounds on Capitol Hill.
You are likely very familiar with this view of the U.S. Capitol, a scene from the outside. But this is how a group of 9 Louisiana Farm Bureau young farmers and ranchers got to see Capitol Hill, from the halls and offices of the men and women who vote on their behalf. Robert Duncan is a farmer and rancher in Rapides Parish.
I feel like we've had a really positive reception from everybody we've met with. We've met with some of the delegations, some of the staffers. It's been a very positive trip so far, and I feel like we've we've made somewhat of an impact on you know, some of the things we've been talking about.
Louisiana Senator Dr. Bill Cassidy took time between votes to meet with the young farmers and ranchers in the U.S. Capitol, where he touted the recent trade victories with China and Japan.
But there's also some issues that we discussed today. Rural broadband, which I've learned is important not only for the conducting of farming, modern day farming, but also important for schools. You want your children to be educated. It could be important for telemedicine. It could be important just to enjoy life. And so we're working hard on rural broadband.
U.S. Congressman Dr. Ralph Abraham, a farmer himself, took a more holistic approach to the issues of rural broadband, healthcare, labor, and trade.
Look, they're all important, because if you take one out of the mix, then that farm can't run. If you don't have labor to harvest, to plant, to take care and grow during the growing season, if you don't have trucks to pull them out, if you don't have somewhere to market your product with trade, then any part of that puzzle missing, they lose their business. So they are all critically important, and I don't think one's more important than the other, because you got to have them all to make a living.
Aside from meeting with members of Congress and their staffs, these young farmers and ranchers also went to the U.S. Department of Agriculture to speak with the people who write the rules based on the laws passed at the Capitol. Casey and Derek Luckett grow produce in West Feliciana Parish. Speaking face-to-face with Undersecretary Bill Northey meant a lot to them.
On our farm, we've had, issues and flooding and trying to get funding or use the WHIP program on our farm, which is a different farm than a lot of the other commodities. In produce, it's a little bit challenging or a little bit harder to get those funds. And so it was good to meet with USDA and talk to them about what's working for us and maybe what needs a little bit more tweaking.
When you come to DC and you sit in a room with 3 undersecretaries that all say, I have on-farm experience, it broadens their world. It opens up their mind to understand that there are people, bureaucrats that they're often called back home, that truly are just a fellow American trying to help and trying to work to make things better.
For Calcasieu Parish farmers Brandon and Danielle Vale, as well as Manny cattlewoman Megan Cook, it's a chance for them to see how the process works.
I've really enjoyed the trip. It's a lot of insight, a little depth insight on where we are going far as senators and representatives and how they relate to us, and we can relate to them and tell them our personal stories and just give them a better understanding of what we are going through in Southwest Louisiana.
We have a voice and they're hearing what we have to say. So they know what's going on back in little old Manny, Louisiana.
And that voice is strong in the big building up on the hill. In Washington, D.C., I'm Avery Davidson for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
The Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers make a trip to our nation's capital every year. If you'd like to learn more about the Young Farmers and Ranchers program, visit our website at twilatv.org. Well, the young farmers lobbied for changes they'd like to see in D.C., but they also had a lot to thank the lawmakers for while in the nation's capital. That includes the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, which was passed with bipartisan support in Congress. President Trump signed it into law here in the United States on January 29th, just days before the young farmers traveled to Washington, D.C. Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation National Affairs Coordinator Andy Brown says this updated trade agreement is a big win for Louisiana farmers.
That was the big deal that involved congressional action, which made it a little different than some of our other trade deals. All wins, but when you can get bipartisan support, which we had, our entire Louisiana delegation voted in favor of the USMCA agreement, which we certainly thank them for. That's huge, and that's our 2 biggest trading partners, Mexico and Canada, for most all commodities, and so that's a huge win. But then there's other unilateral deals as well. Japan is really going to help our beef and pork and chicken producers, and in that arena, other smaller deals such as South Korea, which really is a big win for our rice growers. So a lot of Louisiana commodities affected, and we're really proud and thankful to have the support of both Congress and the presidential administration to get some of these deals done.
Brown also praised Congress on the recent action regarding waters of the U.S. and the newer Clean Water Rule. To see more from Brown about what's happening in Washington, D.C., head over to our website at twilatv.org, where we'll show you more from that interview. Well, U.S. Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue has designated February 16th through February 22nd as National Grain Bin Safety Week. In 2018, there were 30 documented grain entrapments, with half of those resulting in fatalities. TWILA's Jennifer Finley went to visit one of the lucky ones who was recently rescued from a Louisiana grain bin.
We're in the northeastern part of the state where we recently had a successful grain bin rescue done. We had a situation where a farmer was in a bin using a vacuum to move grain, and that's when a collapse occurred and he was surrounded by grain.
We were just vacuuming and everything was going good. Just we sucked it in. The guy that was in there with me, he walked over to the door. It just started going down, not falling in, but going down.
I mean, it started out just like any other day. We got in a situation where we had vacuumed everything that we could, and then they had to go in another 10 foot. And I think that's where the problem started, because it put us too high up on the corn. The next thing I know, they're hollering out the door, cut the grain back off, because the corn had slid in on top of it.
See, it was so quick, there wasn't much time to react. Came in, they gave me a rope, put a rope around me just in case something happened. Gave me something to prop my arms up on. I was up almost to my neck. And called 911.
Got the 911 call, and I was on scene within 2 minutes. First one on scene, and called the guys to bring a grain rescue package. And once they got the grain rescue package on scene, we secured the sides around the COUPEE, got everything secured. And once we got him secured and got the corn out, was able to remove him.
Like I said, they were right there real quick. They knew what to do. They kept everybody else calm that was around me and got me out of there.
They actually, Toby don't remember this because a lot going on, but they actually got a couple of the big wide shovel scoops and then put around him to keep that corn from sliding, and was trying to dig him out, but the digging out wasn't working. But the scoops behind him did help the corn from sliding.
It was scary up until the corn stopped. When the corn stopped, I felt all right. But when it was still flowing, or when I was going, I didn't know when I was going to stop.
It was a very successful rescue, and I'm thankful for our guys for the teamwork.
They were all awesome. I don't know if they've ever done it before, but they acted like they did. They knew what they were doing.
Farm Bureau trained us in 2014 for the first training we've had, and we've been through about 3 or 4 Farm Bureau trainings with grain rescue training, and I'm glad it's a rescue operation to a recovery operation.
They got me. They saved my life. They did.
My opinion is, if you're going to fool around grain bins, if you're going to haul with your own truck to the grain bins or a local elevator, I think everybody needs to go through that course, because I mean, it could be your best friend or your brother or cousin or even a stranger. I mean, everybody should better know how to do this.
Please come on out and join us, participate with us, and the proof's in the pudding. We have had a rescue, and we want to see the number of actual accidents go down, but if one does happen, this program is great to hopefully educate the public on what should be done to make sure there is a successful rescue instead of it just being a body recovery.
With the number of grain bin accidents increasing, we must intensify efforts to educate farmers and anyone who works near and around grain bins on the importance of safety and how to rescue someone who has been trapped. Louisiana Farm Bureau has teamed up with Mississippi Farm Bureau to bring more grain bin safety and rescue training to our local farmers and rescue teams. These workshops will take place next week. On Tuesday, February 25th, there will be a grain bin safety seminar at Morehouse Activity Center in Bastrop. The address is 9555 Marlatt Street. Lunch will be served at noon, and the program will begin at 12:30 and last until 3 p.m. On Wednesday, February 26th, there will be a grain bin safety seminar at Tensas Parish Community Center. The address is 107 Arts Drive in St. Joseph. This seminar is in the evening, and dinner will be served at 5:30, followed by the program from 6 p.m. to 8:30. The last seminar for this round of Farm Bureau's grain bin safety workshops will be held on Thursday, February 27th at the POINTE Multi-Use Center. The address is 1400 Major Parkway in New Roads, and dinner will be served at 5:30 p.m. and the program will begin at 6 p.m. and last until 8:30. We hope you will consider joining Farm Bureau during one of these important workshops. For more information, you can visit us at twilatv.org. Well, while we're filming this right now, it's raining in Louisiana, and we've gotten a lot of it over the last couple of months here, and it's really becoming a problem. TWILA's Neil Melanson shows us how from backyards to cornfields, the weeds are winning these days.
If you're like me right now, you're having this trouble in your yard. Weeds. The rainy weather we've been having this winter has prevented us from spraying pre-emergent herbicide at the house, which has resulted in this. On farm fields across the state, the issue is much more profound, though. Dr. Daniel Stevenson, a weed scientist with the LSU Ag Center, says farmers are waiting and waiting for the rain to end.
And the biggest thing is corn, because typically our growers will start corn, some will be itching to plant the third week of February if they can, but generally it works out to be the first 2 weeks of March. And we suggest 4 to 6 weeks prior to planting that you try to burn or kill the winter vegetation down. You'll hear it called burn down. And we're in that window now, and they haven't.
Stevenson is talking with Fred Collins, a grain farmer in this area who also has worked as a crop consultant. As the two walk these fields near Alexandria, it's becoming clear everyone should have sprayed earlier, but you know what they say about hindsight.
This is the second year in a row that we've had a really wet second half of January and into February. I think we're going to see a lot of growers with corn shift into that late December, 1st of January time and go ahead and spray and use a herbicide to remove the winter vegetation just to get a jump start. I mean, I had individuals calling me January 2nd asking about a burn down application, and I tried to discourage them, saying, look, you're greater than 6 weeks out, we recommend 4 to 6 weeks. Hindsight's 20/20. If I'd have known what was going to happen, I'd have been like, get after it.
The good news is most of the winter weeds are in the process of finishing their life cycle, so the impact to soybeans and cotton will be minimal. The bad news is that these plants hide another problem: bugs.
We've had such a mild winter that there's numerous insects out through this winter vegetation that would love nothing more than to leave the weed they're on and chew on the corn that's emerging.
It's not too late for corn, as corn can be planted through April, Stevenson says. However, cost will go up if it keeps raining, as the crop protection chemicals will have to be applied more and more by air.
The soil is so wet that the ground sprayers, it's just, they'll sink, they'll bog down. That is the preferred way to do it, just because you get better contact with the herbicide onto the plants to control them. When out of the airplane you can have some difficulty, but then you add in wind, and if you got a wind greater than 10 miles an hour, generally an airplane's not going to fly. So you add in wet, and then you add in wind, and then multiple days of rain. I think they're scheduling here in central Louisiana 4+ inches of rain starting this afternoon. And so there's probably an airplane flying somewhere today, even though we got a wind, it's less than 10. So it's just making it tough.
So the next time you're looking at your yard in disgust, think of the folks that bring you your food and fiber. For them, it's not just annoying, it's costly. For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Neil Melanson.
Thanks for that report, Neil. I know around our house we're battling the weeds as well. Well, Neil was up at the Dean Lee Research Station on the campus of LSUA. While he was there, he stopped by a historical marker on campus. February is Black History Month, and this marker celebrates the life of Solomon Northup, whose life story was told in the movie 12 Years a Slave. He was a free man abducted into slavery and brought to the Epps plantation, where he helped build this house, originally located on Bayou Buff. If you'd like to learn more about the Epps house, there's a museum in Bunkie near the house's original location. Still to come on TWILA, cattle, kids, and a big arena. We'll bring you the sights and sounds of the LSU Livestock Show up next. Stay with us.
I don't think you can separate my mom, the farmer, from just my mom, Judia. She is really the farm. She does most of the work.
She's half of me. Tractor would get stuck, she'd get in the mud and help me get it out.
Yeah, this is Johnny. See, he was a little old bitty fella.
Calf needed pulling, she'd help me pull the calf.
Katie takes care of the paperwork. Our main focus is the H2A compliance.
My sister handles the marketing and the distribution. If tomorrow Deborah just disappeared, that would be kind of like cutting off one of my hands.
Yeah, I could have never done it without her. Both of us are one, and both of this is our thing together.
We just fed him out of a red wagon. That's what we had to feed him.
She's my best friend in the world, and that's just the way it is.
85 years. That's how long the LSU Ag Center has been hosting the annual State Livestock Show. That's 85 years of helping young people develop leadership and life skills that make them better adults. Here's what some of those young people are learning in their own words.
Hi, I'm Drew Seville. I am from East Louisiana Parish, and I'm at the State Livestock Show. Ever since I was born, I've always liked animals and cows, basically, and just, I love being around farms. You want the hair to come out so they look bigger than they really are. So I'm brushing the hair up and forwards because it pricks the hair up.
Hi, I'm Lyle Seville, Jimmy's father. Every morning we get up, eat breakfast, and then he has to go to the barn and take care of some horses and cows. We got the show calves that he generally takes care of. Make sure they have feed, water, hay, just the essentials to live, and then it's off to school. From a father standpoint, it means everything. I mean, I'm not raising my kids in video games or out on the streets. We teach them responsibility, sportsmanship. And then, you know, you come back to the show and I have friends that showed growing up, and they're running into the friends that they grew up with. Now they all have kids showing. It's a lifelong commitment, and it's just a good surrounding of people that you can raise your kids in.
I'm Ashley Pugh, and I'm at the State Livestock Show showing Brahmins. I have red and gray Brahmins. I've been showing since I was 10. I've been involved with Brahmins since I was 8. So this would be my 7th year showing. I think showing Brahmin cattle will get you far in life. Not just showing the certain breed, but showing cattle in general. What I really like about it is how they have a bond with you. Like, they trust in you, like you're their best friend. And I think that's special because my grandfather, they don't like him, but they love me. So I just like having cows in general. I'm brushing her with this, it's actually a dog brush to get the hair off of the big dogs. But up here, there's all their dead hair, and you can't really get it off with a brush. You can get most of it, but this actually takes all of it or majority of it off than a regular brush can, and you just clip it out. I've matured a lot. I've made a lot of friends in the industry. I did join some associations in the past year because of cattle. The Brahmin Association, I am a part of the Louisiana Junior Cattlemen's Association. I'm the president, and I'm the vice president of the Louisiana Junior Brahmins Association. And somehow I made it to the American board of the Brahmin Association. I think that confidence has boosted every time you win something. It doesn't have to be first place, it could be third, or, I mean, if you just get second to last, you think to yourself, you did that, you know? So that would build confidence, just you going in there and doing your best.
To see a list of all the winners from the 85th Annual LSU Ag Center State Livestock Show, you can visit our website at twilatv.org. Still to come on TWILA, we'll check crawfish prices for you from around the state. Plus, we'll show you that even in 2020, the bond between a cowboy and his horse is still strong. Stay with us. Crawfish season is going strong right now across Louisiana. So let's take a look at some of the hot spots around the state. Looking around the state, prices have dropped once again in general. At Brookshire's grocery store on Highway 80 in Shreveport, they're going for $2.79 a pound live, while boiled crawfish are going for $3.79 per pound. Crawfish Plus on Jackson Street in Alexandria also has them for $2.79 a pound for live crawfish, while boiled are $2 higher at $4.79 a pound. Tea Rivers Bar on Main Street in Covington has them at $2.89 a pound for live, and boiled you can find them for $3.89 per pound. Wherever you go, make sure of two things. One, you call or use the Crawfish app to check prices and availability, especially right before the weekend. Two, as a reminder from our sponsors at the Louisiana Crawfish Research and Promotion Board, ask before you eat. Before we sign off today, we have a touching TWILA boost about the inseparable bond between a cowboy and his horse. On January 29th, the day before his death, 55-year-old Kevin Adkins had one wish: to see his beloved 27-year-old horse, Vic, just one more time. Adkins battled cancer for 3 years, but prior to his diagnosis, he spent every day of his last 20 years caring for Vic. Now, Vic also served as an honorary pallbearer at Adkins' funeral. The Kevin B. Adkins Cowboy Relief Fund has been established to honor Adkins. It will be used to help other ranching families in that area. Visit our website at twilatv.org for more information. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll take you to the farm of Mushroom Maggie, where she's turning her passion for fungus into a delightful cuisine. Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org, and be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find all of these videos and more on our YouTube page, so be sure to subscribe to us there as well. For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.